the European Union kept trying to bargain us down. Like maybe it could just be a 5% tariff. No, 15. Maybe it could be a 10% tariff. No, 15. Okay, if it's going to be a 15% tariff, maybe we'll tariff you guys too, some portion. No, you'll charge us 0. That's what they agreed to, in addition to opening U.S. access. Sorry, let me read my note here. Investments in the American market by the Europeans, so he's getting them to invest their money here, and opening their markets to American companies in the way they hadn't been before. Trump was out there saying, let's face it, you guys weren't really open to us. You were kind of taking advantage of all the buying power of American consumers, and you really weren't letting us and our companies sell our goods there. It was one-sided. Our so-called friends who we got such a hard time for not being nice to, were taking advantage of us, Victor. And now Trump's done it. He's taking in tariff income. He's getting them to invest in the country, and our companies get to sell their goods over there. I mean, it's a complete win so far.
It is. If I could just detour a bit, Megan, for 5 years, I farmed full time, and I did it part-time here on my farm for 15 years. And I grew raisins, and the EU subsidized and dumped their raisins with a $500 subsidy a ton. And it destroyed the raisin market in the 1980s. And my point is that when Reagan officials, whom I had liked, came out to explain, you know what they said to us? This is good for you, because this was the traditional economic exegesis that if they subsidize and we don't, then we're going to have kind of a Darwinian, only the strongest will survive, and that's good. And you'd say, well, you can't survive when they have a $500 dumping advantage. And then they'd say, well, they won't be able to sustain it. And they did sustain it. And then they'll say, it's going to lower prices for Americans that if you get less, and it didn't. And so we've been dealing with this economic orthodoxy for a long time, and what's missing is we don't really know what the profit margin was for the Japanese, the Chinese, the Europeans in this market. It could have been 20 or 30, but my point is that they apparently have calculated that as long as it's 15%, they're going to make plenty of money without having to raise prices and get in a trade war as the entry charge to get into this huge consumer market. And everybody said that's not true, but apparently they have made a calculated decision that they will make plenty of money, pay the tariff, and be here. The other thing we don't realize is the total market capitalization of Silicon Valley is about $9 trillion. Doug Burgum the other day said there's $15 trillion in foreign investment on schedule to be invested in the United States in the next 2 years. The economists have, they have certain formulas that for every $1 billion of foreign investment, you get, 5,000 new jobs. But nobody in their right mind had ever envisioned 15 trillion if that actually happened. So what I'm getting at is there's all sorts of new things that have happened under Trump. The Interior Department, our EPA, not having 2 years to wait for a permit, but 21 days, or getting rid of 1 million through self-deportation illegal aliens that I can tell you from living here at ground zero of illegal immigration. Many of them, or if not most, were on federal, state, local entitlements. So there's all sorts of things that nobody has calculated the actual effects of. They just go back to this old stale orthodoxy, doom and gloom. And then when it doesn't happen, they neither apologize nor they explain why they were so pessimistic. All those clips that you had, they never said, this is why we're going to have a recession. This is going to be this. They never do. They just parrot each other. And it's very disappointing. Even the Wall Street Journal, not the op-ed, but the news section, I went back and looked at it, what they were saying in March. Stock market collapse, stagflation, job decrease, decreased real wages. It wasn't that they were wrong, that the opposite happened at every one of those categories.
Right, exactly. We've got a surging stock market, record highs on the stock market. The inflation is down to 2.4%. I mean, very low under Trump.
'Cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that